Please be seated. Thank you to the Pioneer Steel Band led by Keith Lehnert. And if you all will notice, I believe that there's a civil engineering grad in the middle somewhere. So, oh, he's moving into his line. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to a very special event, your graduation from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I'm Dr. Joanne Wilson, Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and on behalf of everyone here, welcome to today's ceremony. Would you please stand and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem, led today by Jonathan Herbers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail, that the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, what so proudly we hail, at the twilight's last gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, and the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Today you become part of another special family, graduates, that being the UW-Platteville alumni. This is the 203rd Commencement Ceremony at UW-Platteville, where more than 57,000 graduates have earned their diplomas. So congratulations to all of our graduates and candidates here today. Throughout the day we have saluted, graduates of the College of Liberal Arts and Education, the College of Business, Industry, Life Science, and Agriculture, and the College of Graduate Studies. So now here we are to salute the graduates of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science. In all, we have 561 undergraduate and 120 graduate candidates through the three ceremonies. As for today's ceremony, we will hear words of encouragement and congratulations from our student speaker, our principal speaker, and our chancellor. And then we will recognize some special people and finally present the candidates for graduation. Each commencement, a student speaker is chosen to represent the graduating seniors. This year's speaker is Joshua Luma. Joshua is a native of La Crescent, Minnesota, and he is majoring in engineering physics, and he's an undergraduate research assistant here at UW-Platteville. His current research project is developing carbon nanotube transistors for sensing applications with a focus on detecting organic and biological compounds. Joshua's prior research included the study of the removal of aromatic compounds from drinking water using metal organic framework. Joshua recently completed the Summer Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internship at Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory in Princeton, New Jersey, as a research intern. He developed computational models for the injection of impurity granules into fusion plasma and studied theories for ablation physics. Joshua has been recognized with several awards, including Best Presentation in Environmental Contamination and Treatment at the Clarkson RAPS Conference in Potsdam, New York, and he also received a UW-Platteville Chancellor's Scholarship. Please help me in welcoming Joshua Luma to the podium.
Thank you for the introduction, Provost Wilson. Today marks a special moment for the graduates of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Our journey as undergraduates has come to an end, and we are about to transition into new roles in industry, consulting, graduate school, and other endeavors. Today, we celebrate the achievements we have made during our undergraduate careers. It is worthwhile, then, to remind ourselves why we are here and what the purpose is of our degree. Some say the objective of attending university is to become well-rounded, broadening our horizons and learning about different worldviews. Others are more utilitarian, arguing that a university degree can increase your employability, certifying that you have a certain set of skills that are of value to industry, government, academia, and other institutions. Both sides present valid claims, but I say that there's something more to our university degree, that there's a more fundamental reason why we spend so many years in study and in training. I would argue that the purpose of our degree is set a foundation for how to think, how to invent, and how to innovate. Most importantly, we have spent these years preparing to find solutions to unsolved problems and to answer questions that have never been answered before. Free thinking and innovation moves our society forward. When we look back at history, we find that every generation has faced a unique set of challenges. In the 19th century, the United States and the rest of the world were hard at work to launch an industrial revolution, which perhaps most significantly resulted in a railroad spanning the entire North American continent. Entering into the 20th century, we saw a shift in focus towards widespread electrification, where both urban and rural communities received the life-changing benefits of electricity. Around the same time, the world saw a fundamental transformation in physics and our perception of the universe with the advent of relativity and quantum mechanics. By the end of the 20th century, we would see the rise of the information era. And in our lifetime alone, we have witnessed the vast changes that digital electronics and computers have brought to the world. These examples demonstrate how fast our world changes decade to decade. Clearly, the skills that we possess and we have practiced during our undergraduate studies will be different from the skills that we will hold by the end of our professional careers. It is vital, then, that we are flexible in our thinking and in our problem solving. This is where our university education plays an important role. I would not say that education teaches a person to think freely. That would give too much credit to the university. Instead, I believe that free thinking is an intrinsic trait we possess, and that the role of our education is to force us to think, sometimes to our dismay. We have learned what works and what fails. We have also learned that failure is an option, a blight, not a desirable outcome. In the end, our training prepares us to face the challenges of our time. The National Academy of Engineers maintains a list of grand challenges of the 21st century, providing us with insight into the most pressing problems of our time, regardless of whether you work as a mathematician, a scientist, an engineer, or hold an alternate occupation. The list spans a wide range of fields, with a strong emphasis on finding and improving upon alternative energy sources to address the climate crisis. The Academy also notes that, at current rates of consumption, our supply of coal and oil will be depleted by the end of the century. We are also facing significant water shortages in arid regions of the world, calling into question our ability to maintain and build new water infrastructure as the population increases. The list goes on to include nuclear security, cyber terrorism, and medical technology. In addition, we must supply the daily demands of society, including food, transportation, electricity, and many other needs. These tasks are daunting, and it is evident that there's lots of work to be done. These grand challenges present problems that do not yet have solutions, and pose questions that thus far have gone unanswered. So, how do we go about solving these grand challenges? How do we tackle the smaller challenges that we face day to day in our career? This again is why we are here. The required coursework for our degree has given us a fundamental set of tools that will help us invent, discover, build, and create. We need these tools to tackle the pressing issues of our time. We need these skills so that our society can continue to prosper from our generation and the generation to follow. Admittedly, We can choose to ignore the challenges that lie ahead, but I think we all agree that inaction will lead to undesirable outcomes. Through our education, we have received knowledge that has taken centuries to develop, but we also inherit the responsibilities to take the next step that will move society forward. We still have much to learn throughout our careers, but our decisions, our choices, and our actions speak louder than ever before. So, let us take these challenges as an opportunity to rise up and become a part of history. Let us determine our own fate and take action when action is required. We have the tools to get the job done. It is up to us whether or not we will use them. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Today's principal speaker is Jill Furman. She graduated from UW-Platteville in 2003 with an electrical engineering degree. She is the global product manager, at GE Healthcare in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She is responsible for the management and disruptive growth of a portfolio of global patient monitoring product lines totaling more than $100 million in annual revenue with sales in more than 100 countries. Prior to her role at GE Healthcare, Jill served as engineering manager, project manager, and product manager in positions at RT Logic and Cobham PLC in Colorado Springs, Colorado. During her tenure as an analog application-specific integrated circuit designer at Agilent Technologies in Colorado Springs, she earned 2 patents. Her ASIC designs fly in space, bring world-class resolution to medical imaging machines, measure incredibly small signals in handheld multimeters, and trigger some of the world's fastest oscilloscopes. Jill earned her master's degree in electrical engineering from UW-Madison and her MBA from the University of Denver, Daniels School of Business. She also holds several certifications, including Scrum Professional, Scrum Master, and Project Management Professional. Please welcome Jill Furman to the podium.
When it came time for picking a career, my father gave me some great advice. Do the hardest thing you can think of that makes the most amount of money, because you will change your mind. So I went to engineering school because the salaries were great and I like a good challenge. I graduated with a plan to save as much money as I could. That would minimize my time working so I could retire by 40, 50 at the latest. And then I could focus on doing all my favorite hobbies. I can tell you right now, this wasn't the best plan. If you have to be somewhere 8+ hours a day, you have to be doing something you love and have a passion around. So my first piece of advice to you is find your passion. Arrogant as this sounds, many of you will learn this about engineering. Either you can solve the problem with sufficient time and resources, or it's against the laws of physics. People, they're not quite the same. They're not linear. I can give the same input for 2 different days and get a completely different output. But I can change my input to the equation and put in some people factors, and then 2 days in a row achieve the same work output. In this, I have found my greatest passion. I love leading people, and engineers specifically. I like to help drive them towards our united company goal. Since I have found my passion, I no longer worry about retiring at 40 or 50. I think I can go another 20 years because I'm having fun. So find that thing you are passionate about and make sure that that's what you're doing every day. Great for me that I found my passion, but I ran into a big problem. Others didn't share my opinion that I was good at leading people. I was leading engineers very early in my career because I'm social for an engineer. But I had some really big weaknesses in my communication. I had very little tolerance for perceived incompetence. I might have been missing some tact. Every time I had that yearly conversation with my boss, he told me I wasn't ready for an additional leadership role. I waited and got passed over for promotions. Now, I could have divorced the company at that point for not giving me what I wanted. But instead, I sought a few additional mentors to give me more guidance. And I got a great recommendation. They said, "Why don't you practice leadership?" But I couldn't do it at work, so I had to find a different place. And so I did. I realized that the bar for developing leadership skills by volunteering was incredibly low. In fact, all I had to do was volunteer, and that was good enough. I chose FIRST robotics at the high school level. I figured they would be, 1, hard to lead, 2, brutally honest with their feedback, and 3, would vote with their feet if they didn't like me. I can tell you the first few years of coaching them were really rough on my self-esteem. Every day I would come back after practice reflecting on why I couldn't get some of them to be engaged and how I could get others to work together instead of against each other. I asked my mentors for advice, and they gave me some tips. Some worked for me, some didn't. But by year 2, I was getting better, and through that, my team was getting better too. I had advanced my skills so much that by year 3, I was recruited at my company for a leadership position. The change in me was obvious. So my second piece of advice is when you run into difficulties at work, take accountability and really reflect on what you can do to change the situation. And if you can't think of something, find a mentor who can help support you. Now, becoming a leader didn't make things any easier. In fact, they were much harder. I wasn't a boss of people, I was a project manager. I think that is one of the hardest roles in any organization because I don't have direct control over the people, not their boss. I can't hire them or fire them or change their salary. Just like those high school students, I needed to find a way to motivate them towards our common goal. And because they were brutally honest engineers, they told me exactly how they felt about what I was saying, a lot. But I had another tool in my toolkit that I had developed, something that I had from working with engineers in the past. For my final piece of advice, assume positive intent. Assume that the people you are working with are good people and are really trying to help. Frankly, if you assume the converse is true, your life is going to be kind of miserable. So when an engineer tells me, your idea is stupid, the best response is, please help me understand why you think that. Don't walk away, don't give up, seek to understand the core of the message and ignore the delivery. The engineer was trying to do a nice thing and inform you about a problem. They just chose to communicate in a way that wasn't kind. This advice is powerful in your personal relationships as well. Being able to look past the hurtful words to the positive intent allows you to look to the core of the problem. Now let's recap on these 3 pieces of advice. 1, find your passion and make sure that it's your job. 2, listen and truly accept feedback. Surround yourself with mentors that can help. And 3, assume positive intent. Why is this advice important? When you interview for a job, you'll spend 2, maybe 3 hours of phone interviews, 4, maybe 6 hours on site. You'll meet your boss, some of your fellow colleagues. With that time, you can learn a number of things about the situation, but everybody's putting on their best face. It's the same as the first few dates you go on with a person, where you both show your best sides. Imagine deciding to marry a person after a couple dates. 10 hours together? That would almost be like an arranged marriage. You would clearly say that you didn't know the person, but now you're deciding to share a home together, be with them each evening and on the weekends. You may spend an average of 6 hours a day with your spouse if you were doing everything together in the evenings, if your schedules align perfectly. Now, think about your work colleagues. You spend a minimum of 8 hours a day with them, and frequently more. You'll often see them more than your significant other. And instead of marrying one person that you have to get along with, you have 20 colleagues that you'd spend a lot of time with, and 4 to 5 that you spend hours with every single day. Without your choice, they will enter and exit your career, your company, and your relationships with them. This is something you can't control. So like a marriage, you have to find a way to make it work. You can't quit just because you got angry with one of your colleagues or your boss. If you do this, you will find yourself in the same problem over and over again. New company, new role, new challenges, same problems. They say the only thing the same in all your failed relationships is you. Instead, use your words and your communication skills to overcome your problems. Be brave, and know that happiness comes with working through problems and building that long-lasting relationship. Your tools of accepting feedback and assuming positive intent will help you through those difficult conversations. Really reflect on what you can do to make yourself better, find your passion, and assume positive intent. Jobs and careers are a marathon, not a sprint. So step up to that plural arranged marriage and find a way to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. I now ask that Dan Smith, President of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, come forward to present the Alumni Lifetime Memberships.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. By your graduation here today, you are now part of a special group, UW-Platteville alumni. And you are not alone. I now ask all UW-Platteville alumni to stand and be recognized. I, along with the alumni here today, would officially like to welcome you, the class of 2019, as UW-Platteville alumni. Thank you. The UW-Platteville Alumni Association annually recognizes outstanding graduates with Honorary Lifetime Pioneer Award by awarding them lifetime membership into the Alumni Association. The award is based on a variety of criteria, including campus activities and leadership, community involvement, professional development and employment, academic excellence, and the probability of future involvement in the Alumni Association. I'd like to ask the following graduate to stand and be recognized as the College of EMS's Alumni Association Lifetime Membership recipient, Abigail Jones. Congratulations, Abigail.
Dennis J. Shields has been the University of Wisconsin-Platteville Chancellor since 2010, and during that time, he has led the university to tremendous growth with more programs, facilities, and opportunities. He has also brought in the new branch campuses, UW-Platteville Richland and UW-Platteville Baraboo, Sauk County, into the institution. Please welcome Chancellor Dennis J. Shields. I'm getting tired.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Good afternoon. Let's try it again. Good afternoon. If you're tired, this is the third event for me today. It is indeed a great day to be a pioneer. And it is a privilege to be here to honor the University of Wisconsin-Platteville graduating class of 2019. Congratulations. Start with a few thank yous. Thank you to friends, family, faculty, and staff. Thank you for the work you have done with and for these students. Thank you for the financial, emotional, and other support that you offered these students while they were on their journey towards earning their diploma from our institution. Graduates, while one chapter of your journey is complete, the next chapter of your life begins. And with it comes an opportunity to make a positive difference in your life, in the lives of others, and in the world. As the chancellor of your alma mater, I am compelled to take this occasion to offer you some advice as you leave this campus and continue your life journey. As individuals, we may truly never comprehend or be capable of appreciating the impact our actions have on others. Sometimes, things that seem relatively insignificant might affect our own lives and the lives of others very profoundly. Part of our ability to in fact have a positive impact in the world starts with what might seem like an obvious or relatively simple truth. Be kind, despite and perhaps especially when you feel that the world is cruel and unjust. Now, many of you might not know much about my own personal journey or the path that I took in order to be standing at this podium today. My story began in what some might consider an unlikely place, the Christ Child Home, a Catholic orphanage in Des Moines, Iowa. And between the ages of 5 and 12, I went from the orphanage to a foster home to another foster home before finally ending up in a place called the YMCA Boys Home. I was in 6th grade. Jack Braby, my 6th grade teacher, had a tough enough job just teaching all of us 12-year-olds. His task as a teacher likely would have been easier without the additional burden of helping a student like me. But for whatever reason, Jack took an interest in me. And late in the school year, close to my birthday on a Friday, Mrs. Braby picked me up from the boys' home unannounced. I didn't know what to expect when she pulled into the driveway of her home and encouraged me to come inside. When I stepped in the door, I found my classmates had all arrived there in advance to throw a surprise birthday party. It was the first time in my life that anyone had made a big deal out of my birthday. As I reflect on this experience and the meaning it has had in my life, I know that this moment was significant to me because it helped me feel like I belonged. The Braby family may or may not remember taking the time to plan a surprise party for a 12-year-old like me, or consider the profound way that they impacted my life. The lesson that I have now come to realize in relation to this story is that we are all, in small and large ways, influencing the lives of those around us. It's hard for me to imagine my future success as a student and as a professional without that feeling of belonging that Jack Braby and my classmates helped me feel that day. Another example that I will offer you comes from a name that many of you may not be familiar with, David Foster Wallace. He delivered a commencement speech that was later published under the title, "This is Water." In it, he argues that we all should work to break free of our default mode of experiencing life as the center of the universe, and essentially remember to appreciate those around us, to be kind to others, even when the world seems especially cruel. The essay begins with a short parable. Two young fish are swimming along, and an older, wiser fish happens upon them and asks, "Hey boys, how's the water?" After this interaction, the two younger fish swim along, and one of them turns to the other and asks, "What the heck is water?" What Wallace means to point out with this example is that the most obvious realities are often the ones that are hardest to see and talk about. As you move from one chapter of your lives towards the next, it is important to stop and reflect on all that you have experienced. Wallace asks us in his essay to do the hard work that accompanies true self-reflection and to break free from our default setting by remembering that what our initial judgment may sometimes suggest to us isn't always true. He asks us to remember that this is water and to consider that even when it seems like the world around us is filled with cruelty and injustice, or perhaps specifically because of that observation, it is important that we remember to practice kindness in our lives, in the lives of others, and in the world. I offer these examples because simple acts of kindness, I believe, can change the world. Today, I ask it not only to reflect on your own success as a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, but also on the many ways that others in your life have helped you get here. Being the Jack Braby for someone else starts with holding the door for others. For example, it starts with giving up your seat on a bus for someone who might need it more than you. Making these small daily choices is one way that you can practice kindness in your life, in the lives of others, and in the world. To reiterate, we may truly never know or be capable of appreciating the impact that our actions have on others. Sometimes, things that seem relatively insignificant to us might affect our lives and the lives of others profoundly. Today, I ask that you do the work every day to be more generous with your kindness. Today, I ask that you commit to living a life of service. And today, I ask that you work hard every day in order to break free from your default setting by choosing a life of kindness, self-reflection, and empathy. Ultimately, it is up to you to make every day a great day to be a pioneer. Congratulations to the graduates of 2019 University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Thank you.
He's a lot taller than me. Thank you, Chancellor Shields. You may wonder what the different colored stoles and cords are around the necks of many of our graduates. Our international students wear white flag stoles featuring the United States flag and the flags from their home country. UW-Platteville students who have studied abroad wear stoles featuring the flags of the countries where they studied. In addition, clubs, organizations, and honor societies have also bestowed different color stoles and pins on their graduates, representing additional extracurricular and high-impact practice learning. I'm going to call special attention now to those wearing gold honor cords. These gold cords are worn by students who have received academic honors. Students with honors are also designated in your program with asterisks, and we're going to recognize these students now. Each year, the college recognizes a valedictorian, one for each college. Students with a high grade point average as well as outstanding accomplishments are recognized as a valedictorian. For the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, we ask the 2019 valedictorian, Joshua Luma, to please stand. Congratulations, Joshua. Now, will the individuals who are graduating magna cum laude please rise and remain standing? These students have earned cumulative grade point averages above a 3.5, so congratulations to all of you. You may be seated. And now, will the students earning the highest honors and are graduating summa cum laude please stand and remain standing. These students have earned cumulative grade point averages between a 3.75 and a 4.0. So please join me in congratulating these students and all the other students we just recognized. You may be seated. As you notice, we have a group of faculty and staff sitting in the front here, and their robes are very colorful. Each faculty member has a different style of gown and accessory depending on his or her field and their level of education. For a PhD, the hood is very large and colorful and has a silk patch and a velvet patch. And the silk patch is the colors of the institution that gave the degree, and the velvet tells you what kind of degree that is. The doctoral gown has a black velvet strip that extends down the front, as well as 3 black velvet stripes across the sleeves. For the master's degree, the hood is the same length as the doctor's hood, but does not fully expose the lining, and the velvet edge is not quite as wide. So faculty and staff wear the color of the institution that granted the highest degree that they've been awarded. And please join me in recognizing our faculty who are here in the front 3 rows. And if there was a competition, which there isn't, this college would win attendance awards today. Congratulations. And now, all of the individuals who are candidates for bachelor's degrees, please stand. This is your moment. Chancellor Shields, as Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and as directed by the university faculty, I certify that the individuals standing before you are candidates for the Bachelor of Arts or the Bachelor of Science, and upon completion of the prescribed curricula, which includes next week's finals, they are entitled to receive their degrees from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I therefore recommend that these candidates be granted the appropriate diplomas for the curricula completed.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Upon this certification by the Provost and Vice Chancellor, and with the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree that you have earned, together with all the rights and privileges attending thereto.
Now, undergraduates, you can take that tassel and move it from the right to the left on your mortarboard, as you are now a UW-Platteville graduate. Please be seated as we begin the awarding of the individual degrees. And we know that this is an exciting time for all of you, but I would ask that everyone show respect for the graduates and for those seated near you. All here are very anxious to hear the name of their own graduate. And so if we could refrain from excessive celebration, but let's at least celebrate, okay? We need to have some. Just know, yeah, you know what I mean. So Registrar David Kiekefer will read the names of the candidates. And so I'm going to ask Dr. Molly Gribb, the Dean of the College of Engineering and Mathematics and Science, to come forward.
Congratulations, graduates. I am so honored to be celebrating your academic achievements with you today. Chancellor Shields and Provost Wilson, As Dean of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, I present to you the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science. Candidates, please begin coming forward.
Joshua Luma. Noaf Talah Algaruni. Adib M. El Harbi. Meshari Saud El Mansour. Abdul Karim Majdi Al Rabgi. Mohammed Abdul Rahman Al Rajdi. Abdullah Hadi Ali Yami. Bassam S. Al Shamari. Binjoy Babu. Sarah E. Barron. Andrew C. Bartel. Bailey Marie Bartz. Benjamin M. Bashaw. Benjamin David Baxter. Taylor Rose Becker. Skylar E. Beckwith. Mitchell Dean Bernardi. Cassidy Lynn Berner. Dakota Jordan Bernclaw. Tyler C. Bloomfield. Alex Justin Bouton. Brett Michael Boziel. Ian David Brightlow. Brian Brunmeyer. Casey Michael Canadi. Jacob P. Carpenter. Mackenzie C. Cerny. Cameron Patrick Christensen. Skylar Thomas Colgrove. Killian J. Collins. Joshua B. Cook. Brian Michael Cormican. Mitchell T. DeHarsh. Julia C. Daskowitz. Marcus G. Davis. Brennan M. Deegan. John M. DeHutt. Jonathan G. Delgado. Thomas Dillman. Shannon F. Deneen. Jordan M. Disterhoff. Zachary A. Dersch. Mitchell A. Dolak. Zachary Lewis Dressler. Melanie Louise Dritline. Caleb Wesley Allen Dykema. Oren D. Eckes. Grant R. Ellenfelt. Walter F. Elmore. Nicholas J. Urshan. Samuel R. Ertl. Dustin J. Evers. Shin-Yu Fan. Alex Michael Feudner. Cameron J. Fisher. Joseph L. Fox. Gabriel M. Frankfurt. Logan Clinton Frederick. Andrew Eric Freeman. Ellen E. Freedy. Michael J. Gard. Christopher James Gustav Gates. Mark J. Gora. Kareem F. Gandur. Alexander Christian Gauss. Joel Robert Godden. Ryan A. Gronke. Thomas Gordon Greep. Nikolai G. Genther. Zachary B. Hensgen. Nicole Leanne Heller. Paul D. Hansen. Allison Louise Hartlaub. Zachary Ray Henderson. William F. Henning. Denny M. A. Howell. Chase W. Jackson. Abigail L. Jones. Andrew E. Johnson. Noah J. Johnson. Nicholas D. Jones. Amanda E. Kaiser. Trent William Kastenschmidt. Alexander J. Keith. Laura K. Kemper. David M. Kandhammer. Riley J. Kerrigan. Amanda Grace Kinney. Anne Marie Klein. Leigh Klur. Jonathan J. Kanan. Jacob Christopher Kepke. Cody J. Coleman. Cody J. Kolpak. Nicholas A. Konopacki. Ella Marie Kramer. Nathan B. Limay. Brandon J. Lemke. Brandon William Lex. Matt Little. Nicholas A. Luca. Michael Lidke. Garrett F. Lusky. Daniel Yoma. Dalton J. Makovsky. Breck Edmund Alexander Mankins. Lindsay Eileen Mann. Andrew V. Mann. Gunnar P. Markren. William Clark Martin. Denise Martinez. Mercedes Ann McCloy. Samuel Thomas Merrifield. Ben A. Miller. Justin L. Mulrooney. Bryce S. Murphy. Jeffrey Terry Needham. Dana M. Neidick. Joseph P. Nemmer. Dominic G. Olasak. Bryce Thomas Piotrowski. Stephen Pluska. Hunter A. Pankratz. Joseph M. Primus. Patrick E. Raleigh. Tyler J. Rao. Cleveland M. Red. Cole Avery Ryder. Colton Carl Richter. Logan Taylor Rinderneck. Ethan W. Roberts. Brandon T. Robinson. Michael Scott Ryan. David Allen Sabatke. Andre Joseph Sandoval. Elora Amelia Schaff. Jason Joel Scampers. Cassidy Louise Sheppa. Corbin D. Schrader. Derek R. Schultz. Austin M. Schweda. Mark Joseph Schinginger. Lindsay K. Skaggs. Adam J. Smith. Mark William Summer. Brett T. Stotts. Brady Ross Sturm. Mark S. Swanson. Joseph E. Tanking. Patrick Allen Terpstra. Holly Marie Thomas. Brett R. Tittle. Brian S. Tlahutch. Nathan H. Van Schaik. Michael D. Vandervelden. Richard Ty Vang. Gregory S. Vogt. Carter Elijah Quell Vosters. Nicholas D. Walker. Nolan H. Wallenkamp. Jacob A. Wallen. Jacob S. West. Danielle Lee Weezy. Dalia M. Willman. Noah J. Wimmer. Stephen Scott Werple. Tyler James Wolfert. Mitchell C. Wojciechowski. Tyler L. Wood. Shane A. Zarodnik. Alicia M. Zawicki. Dustin W. Zitlow.
On behalf of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, congratulations. Please be seated.
Putting together this ceremony takes considerable work, much of it behind the scenes. I would like to acknowledge the following people. First, the Commencement Committee, led by Ian Drager. The Commencement Marshal, Dr. Lisa Landgraf of the Department of Computer Science and Software Engineering, who will be retiring in the spring, I believe. Congratulations, Lisa. Registrar Dave Kiekefer, who read the names, the student ambassadors who served as your ushers, the Pioneer Steel Band, led by Keith Leonard, thank you for your music, the Media Technology Services, who will make sure that your ceremonies are taped and on the website this evening, and the Division of University Relations. For all those that were just mentioned who helped with the production of all of today's ceremonies, please rise and be recognized. Sitting in front of the stage is a group who has taught and advised and so much more the graduating class. Would the UW-Platteville faculty and staff please stand and be honored today? And none of this would have been possible without this last group, who has helped our graduates throughout their collegiate careers and indeed their entire lives. Would the families and friends of the December 2019 graduates please stand and be recognized? Now, if you could please turn to page 40 of your commencement program, we will sing the Alma Mater, led again by Jonathan Herbers. Please stand for the Alma Mater.
Alma mater, grand and glorious, we shall ever
events and ceremonies have been recorded, and they will be available for on-demand viewing on the campus website. I would ask that everyone remain seated until the faculty has left the gymnasium, and once they've reached the lobby, we will dismiss the graduates so they may join their families and friends. The flags representing all of our countries from which our students hail are displayed out in the main lobby for pictures, as are the college banners. This concludes our ceremony. Once again, congratulations to the University of Wisconsin-Platteville graduating class of 2019. Please start the recessional.